Hello there. Welcome everyone to our very first edition of Exploring Insights. This is the introduction to experiential pathways. I'm your host Mrinalini with our remarkable speaker Ankita Puri, a dynamic entrepreneur, a visionary leader, and a passionate author. Ankita, thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, everyone. Thank you very much, Mrinalini, for having me on this season today.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, I'm excited to dive in. Let's start by giving our viewers a glimpse into your journey. Your success, including the book, Parenting the Alpha Generation, is a true inspiration. I have read your book, and as a new couple, I must say it's kind of supercharged me. I'm so much waiting to parent my generation. You have been a great inspiration to millions of parents. Guys, Ankita Puri is a distinguished entrepreneur, a visionary leader, and an accomplished author renowned for her groundbreaking work in the field of parenting and education. With a passion for empowering both parents and educators, she has left an indelible mark on the industry. As an entrepreneur, she has founded and led successful ventures in the education sector, demonstrating her innovative thinking and commitment to shaping the future of learning. Her commitment to mentorship and excellence in the higher education industry has earned her well deserved recognition and awards. Congratulations to you. Ankita's impact extend beyond entrepreneurship. She is the author of the Amazon's best-selling book, Parenting the Alpha Generation. This book shares insights which are spot on, and the practical advice on upbringing digital age kids is a true lifesaver. She provides valuable insights and guidance to parents navigating the challenges of raising and technologically savvy and forward thinking alpha generation. Ankita, please enlighten us by sharing some highlights of your journey and what led you to where you are today. Guys, stay with us till the end, as this is going to be the most enlightening introduction, as this will help you know your speaker better.
Great. I really like the way you introduced me to this wonderful audience listening to us today. A lot you have told about me, and when I hear such words, I feel more empowered and more motivated, and the feeling of get going triggers within each nerve of mine. Thank you so much, Mrinalini.
You're welcome.
Hello, everyone. Hello, and thank you for joining us today. It's an immense pleasure to have an interaction session with you all. Um, Mrinalini has given a lot of inputs about what me and what have I been doing all these years of my experience. But just to give a quick bites about how this journey has been so far, and uh, like many of you, even my industrial setup or entrance in the industry was a roller coaster ride after finishing my graduation and the basic education, we call it. Um, there were many ups and downs. There were many phases of failures, phases of appreciations and achievements. There were instances wherein I acquired skills, there were learning lessons of my life. And I'm sure many of you have already crossed that path and walking along, and some of you are yet to kickstart that particular journey if you are still a school child. But if we talk about me, particularly, having spent close to 2 decades in the industry serving Fortune 500 organizations back in corporate, entering into the education industry, getting used to and getting comfortable with the higher education sector, dwelling with children, students, youngsters, day in and day out, handling their queries, their concerns, counseling them, dealing with parents' anxieties. I eventually realized that I'm yet to identify the real purpose of my life. That's when you start getting enlightened about looking forward for the purpose of life. That's when you actually start nailing down the right direction meant for you. And that's when I jumped into something called as a coach or a counselor. I realized that there is a lot of information which I have learned from this industry, from the people whom I have spent time with, and it's time for me to give them back. I encountered various skills. I encountered various people of coming from different industrial background, experiential background, different nationalities, and many of them played a role of a mentor in my life and helped me to grow. So my key takeaway all this while was that it is super crucial to have a mentor in your life, be it your personal life, be it your professional life, or even a social life for that matter. A mentor plays a very, very important role. And to give my thanks to all the mentors in my life so far, I thought the best way to show this gratitude is to pay forward and become one of the mentors so that, one arm of mine continues to help me grow further. However, the other arm of mine can help someone else grow in their respective lives. And that's where I am what I am today. And I'm very sure that all the skills which I have acquired, be it a skill of being determined, uh, good at prioritizing my task, the daily chores you can call it, and above everything, believing in the process is something which I have acquired in all these years. And I stand here to pass it on to the audience, who are in the real need of mentorship, is what I am here today. Mrinalini, I don't know if that helps you to
That's
continue my.
wonderful. Your journey is truly remarkable, Ankita. Okay, so now let's dive into experiential pathways. Could you explain what this initiative is all about and how it actually aligns with your expertise in education industry? I'm curious to know.
Indeed, and I'm glad. I'm sure many of our audience is also willing to know that what exactly this experiential pathway has to offer,
Right.
and
Mm,
to what they are in their lives today. So primarily,
mm,
this, we call it as it's actually a remedy. If I'm not, if I'm good to use this word, it's actually a remedy to many crucial situations in a student's life.
mhm.
Just go back, rewind your life a couple of years. I'm not pointing anyone's age, especially yours and mine here, but if you go back to to those years when we were still school children, and there was a kind of a peer pressure, there was a kind of self doubt, and what am I going to do as soon as I'm done with my grade 12, you know and that was the time we really looked forward for some kind of divine help to come our way and tell us what's best for us, because we can't see the
Right.
future.
Mhm.
Situations have not changed even today. Time has flown, time has crossed generations over generations since then. Till the child, a student who is in grade 9, 10, 11, 12, these children are still under an extra pressure of, oh, okay, so what do you want to be? Same child, when the child
Mm,
was asked at the age of, at the age of 5 years or 6 years, I want to be an entrepreneur, I want to be a teacher, I want to be a scientist. It doesn't work that way when you're actually standing at the field. Now
mm,
you have crucial hand, and you have to take a decision which will at least be with you for the rest 5 years of your life. Masters can change it, but undergraduation is
mm.
definitely one first step towards the direction of your career growth. So experiential pathway actually brings forward, as the name suggests, it's
Right,
actually
right,
for all these students who are right
right,
now standing of their life, where they have to take some crucial decisions of their higher studies, career direction, and these decisions are to be made based on the experience,
right.
not but the experience they own themselves and become more learned to act upon.
Mhm. Wonderful. I definitely get the idea of what experiential pathways is. So, how do you see it reshaping the way students approach their learning journey? I mean, particularly in this global world of education we're talking about. And what does experiential pathways intend to offer here?
Good question, because um, even though we understand the importance, there
Uh-huh.
is a hitch minds of
Right.
in the minds of many parents that why global, you know.
Right. Right.
There are it's a subjective argument, I can say, and it has no end to where it will lead to, because
Right.
it's subjective. Parents priority, the child's priority, at the same time the availability of resources in that region where the child belongs to. But
Mm-hmm.
having said, there are some there are some key benefits of experiential learning
Mm-hmm.
which definitely overrule all these arguments or statements which come forward. And we call it as a holistic approach to an
Right.
education.
Okay.
Children are children are doing excellent in their classroom or studies. Okay, there is no shortage of talent, and if we look at the students of today's generation,
Mm-hmm.
we call them teachers because they
Right.
are digitalized, they're revolutionists in terms of digitalization, and they are more resourceful compared to the previous gone generation. So
Right. Right.
it's like you have to accept the fact that they are already having a good knowledge base, what is
Exactly.
good. But when it comes to a decision related to career selection, they still need a plus one support apart from the digital world. And that is where this experiential pathway comes into picture. Allow me to give you quick benefits if that's
Mm-hmm.
okay with.
Sure. Sure. Wonderful.
We strongly claim that if you
Mm-hmm.
are experiencing this pathway, if you are
Mm-hmm.
let go yourself to go and have a taster of an experiential pathway, you are
Uh-huh.
actually enhancing your understanding. When I say you're enhancing your understanding, you are actually opening the door of acquiring new knowledge. Now,
Wow.
this new knowledge should come outside the classroom. The school
Definitely. Right.
leader in complete responsibility to upgrade you the best they can. But there
Yes.
is a world which exists outside the classroom as well.
Mm,
It is your responsibility to take one extra step and enhance that level of understanding from the world outside, which is only possible when you move out of that classroom also and see what's happening in the rest of the world with the
right.
same subject, with the same topic, which entices you as your career. Correct? It
Right.
also
Exactly.
it for improved retention.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's this very common saying, you tell me I may forget, but you experience if I experience it, it's in my memory.
Right. Right.
Right? I may be
Right.
not phrasing. I'm just trying to
Right.
pick the words to my conversation here. But
Right.
this generation especially, they want to experience everything and then they say, all right, now we know, and that imbibes in their brain cells for the rest of their life. So retention is a second benefit which we strongly recommend whenever you're opting for an experiential uh, pathway kind of a programs. And that helps you for the rest of your life. I'm emphasizing this statement because it's not that you have completed that grade or you moved on to higher secondary and you're in a university and you forget. No, because
Right.
you build those moments. You are very much there in those moments until your memory cells actually starts giving up. But yeah, the
Right.
retention is good. How about saying that you also enhance your communication
Right.
when we take children to international locations? We are not
Mm,
talking about only, we're talking about effective communication. Because when
right.
you meet different nationalities, okay, you are not going to expect that every nationality has an excellent style of speaking in terms of English. No, English may vary in terms of each individual's communication. But how about the word
Right.
effective? Are you able to manage and convey the message in most effective way?
Mm,
Are you interact? Are you able to ice break with students from other nationalities? Are you able to, nominate yourself or volunteer yourself for certain projects which are happening at a global level competition? If not, then why not this way? Because if
right.
you become
Right.
exactly,
Mm-hmm.
so if you're a part of that way, you know that this is a non-escapable room. It's a
Mm,
mandatory room that
right.
will automatically get groomed in terms of your communication skills. And when I say about communication skills and when I talk about these different nationality exposure, I also intend to bring an important point, which is called immersion. Immersions. Now,
Right. Right.
when you are global, you really require these students to have an empathetic approach.
Mm,
It's important for humanity out here.
I
So
agree.
when
Totally.
when you get more aware about different cultures, you generate that
Mm,
streak. You
exactly.
try to become what we claim is a global citizen.
Mm,
Eventually, what experiential pathway brought into picture is your horizon, which has broadened up now on a global platform. You
mhm,
are judgmental now and more reasonable now. You are more empathetic towards certain conditions happening in some part of the world, and you become more factual about why such a situation has occurred in this pocket of the globe and what best could have been done. So
mhm.
what I'm trying to pick up and develop your thinking ability through the experiential pathway. So if you look at all this, there are many more benefits, Renal, but I'm sure that if we do not overwhelm the audience,
Right,
these,
right.
these fundamental benefits are possible when the child is good in his classroom studies. At the same time, the child has an exposure defined on a global platform and is ready for the transformation. That
Mhm.
acceptance is the key
Right.
for that.
Exactly, exactly. Thank you so much. You have wonderfully and beautifully actually thrown light on the benefits of experiential learning. Actually, I never thought it this way. I mean, that saying you mentioned, so when children are engaged, they learn better. So that's exactly, I believe, you're talking about here is you have truly touched upon how crucial experiential learning is for a child's holistic development. I'm curious to understand why this global world of education we are discussing is necessary for a child. Like you have already mentioned the benefits. So, like there are multiple subjects that I believe to broaden their horizons, like from English, maths, and science. So how this new era of AI, ML, and data science is known as the new era of modern studies.
Mhm. Uh, See, this is where we call it that education has advanced itself. The pattern has changed. The teachers have been trained by and large to adopt the new technologies of learning.
Uh-huh.
Thanks to the pandemic, because pandemic completely gave a 360-degree shift to the teaching pattern, especially the education sector. It adapted very quickly. Um, Something with this generation especially has seen in their initial years. Now that they are moving to their crucial
Mhm.
ages, so it is very, very important to have such kind of a setup. And schools and the institutes are promoting more of technically driven, AI driven,
Right,
you know,
right.
curriculum, because they understand that these children, it's not. I mean, they need to be fed. If you're only feeding them the syllabus, the curriculum,
Right,
will not help them to feel contented. Their hunt
right.
will continue. What is
Totally.
needed is a feed to their mind,
Mhm.
which or initiates their critical thinking.
Right, right.
Where the new pattern is taking a big time shape in most
Mhm.
of global setups. When we say critical thinking, we are not talking something which is on a surface level. When we say
Mhm.
critical, for the benefit of the audience here, we actually trying to nail the problem solving capabilities of these students.
Right, right. Okay.
Are going to come back to their teachers or to the parents or to the seniors for every second issue they will face in their lives during this
Uh-huh.
transformation. They should have the ability to do the problem, to solve or resolve a problem by thinking creatively, innovatively.
Mm.
Now,
Wow.
this skill has
Mm.
to come beyond the subject matter. This is a
Right.
life skill,
Mm-hmm.
right? Similarly, there's something called taking learned decisions.
Right. Right.
Pick up any instance in your life, and I'm asking this question with the audience. You may nod while you're listening or viewing this.
Uh-huh.
Question when you try to tell your child,
Mm-hmm.
which is important, and the child accepted as is without giving a cross question to you. I don't think it exists anymore. Gone are the days when and children used to say a yes and follow whatever the parents said. No, these students are more into reasoning with their parents. We don't call it arguments. This is not argument. This is the generation which has it inbuilt. If you give them an information, they will have a couple of follow-up questions on top of it. So you have
Mm-hmm.
to make them understand why you want them to accept this piece of information.
Right.
This is learn it. The generation is more
Mm-hmm.
learn.
Learn it. Right.
Now, if you're not providing facilities in the school premises where the child is spending a good number of hours of its daily life, then there is a high chances that the child will have a lot of turmoil in their own thought process. They
Ah,
will,
I see.
but at the same time, the
Mm-hmm.
active is not accepting because there are more reasonings to it. So we have to bring the pattern in such a way that it generates these elements of critical thinking, plus making them adaptable. Now,
Right.
if things are changing, how quickly we adapted, all of us, entire globe for that matter, when
Exactly.
we were adaptable.
Right.
Those
True.
who have that adaptability streak
Mm.
face challenge, frustration, and anything in between. I mean, there was
Right.
tough times, but
Mm.
some of them picked it up very quickly because of the natural flair of adaptability. How are we going to imbibe these skills in our children during the same time when
Mm-hmm.
they are pressure, when they are more conscious about their future career? These skills also comes into picture. So it's like a complete ecosystem which
Right.
works in place for the betterment of these students as future leaders.
Mm. Wonderful. That's a compelling perspective, Ankita, I must say. So parents often wonder. So speaking of all the experiential learning that we're talking about here and the global education, so when do you think is the best time to start planning for the child's higher education? What's your advice on this, Ankita?
Very good question again, Mrinan, because many a times when we speak to parents, we get
Mm.
such answers, which are valid.
Right,
Um, as a mom of a 10-year-old child, so I totally
right.
can fix
Mhm.
those.
Yeah.
Uh, it is a very sensitive age when stage of
Mhm.
life. I age factor here because it's very important to say which stage of life is your child in right now. Is your
Right.
child ready to learn time management? Is your child ready to be more organized in life?
Mm.
Elements are not dependent on age. A
Mm.
child who is 5 years old is also good at organizing all his toys in the right place and making sure that before I leave my toy room, I am done with this. So it all depends on what stage is your child in. So let me put it in this way for
Oh.
my lovely. If your child is in grade 10, grade 11,
Mhm.
and grade 12, I
Mhm.
think it as a parent to provide a platform for these children or your child so
Mhm.
that picks up these life skills more seriously than ever.
Right. Okay.
Of a situation again, look, just close your eyes and just look at one of your normal day routine when you wake your child up for the school and your child gets up. Is there any tantrum there? Is there any
Mm.
repetition of waking the child up? Is the child child sensible enough to pick up, get ready, go to school, finish the work, do extra studies, or any other extracurricular the child is doing,
Uh-huh.
congratulations.
Right.
Half, right?
Mm, you're right.
Imagine a situation your child is on an international tour all by itself, along with the
Uh-huh.
peers, and child has to do its own laundry, make up his own bed, get up on time, do the physical regime, eat the food with no
Right.
given
Exactly.
choices.
Yeah.
This
Right.
this way be giving a short platform to make the person, that means the student or the child, realize
Mhm.
this is outside home.
Right.
At the same time, same child who is in grade 9 and grade 10 still either flouting out, I am going to be an engineer, I can just think of maths, I
Mm,
don't for commerce. Oh, humanities is my favorite subject. No, I'm born to be a psychologist. These
mm,
talking picking up these words when they are into peer conversations, maybe at home,
right.
maybe
Exactly.
circle, but that's a surface level. Try to push them
Mm,
bit, see them drowning. They'll struggle
right.
to station because they don't know.
Right.
They
I totally
don't.
agree.
I mean, they will end up contributing one or two sentences, and I bet for that
Right.
because I have more than 10,000 students in my entire life so far.
Right. Right.
Take them deep inside the water. Okay, guys, come, buddy, let's talk a bit more. You want to be a
Mm,
psychologist? I'm for you. Step two. How about this? Do you have you thought about this? A total blank face.
mm,
And a smart child may come with can walk with me to level 3 and level 4, but then there is a limit. And this is where we educate parents, we educate students that you are no more young.
mm.
You're not
Right.
calling yourself that no, I'm young, I can't do these things. This is the right age. Pack your bags, go outside your classroom also. Come, go for such global pathways programs. Figure out what else is in the market, what else is happening in my field. I want to be a space scientist. Wow, what all developments have happened. Which all jobs are not going to be there in 5, 10 years from now. So I should rather, upgrade my requirements right away and
Right.
be a learned, career ready person rather than struggling after grade 12. Now, what's for me? So, to answer your question straight, Mrinal,
Right.
parents, children from grade 9, 10, 11, and 12, they should be a bit more serious and more committed towards this global exposure.
Right. I totally agree to you. I remember an incident. A friend of mine, she told me that she was actually wanted to be a teacher. So she told me, I remember that Mrinal, you should also be a teacher because she wanted someone with her. So maybe I mean I think so. And she told me, okay, let's do this together. I had no idea what it is going to do to me and how it will benefit me, so I just enrolled myself with her and to see how it goes. But I remember it didn't do anything, and I'm still, I mean, where I am today is something not at all that is being a teacher. So that's a great advice, Ankita. Thank you very much. So that sounds incredibly engaging. Thank you, Ankita, for sharing your valuable insights and vision with us today. It's been a pleasure having you on this show. I'm super excited, guys, for our upcoming session that dives deep into how a parent can plan their child's higher education. So stay tuned, guys, for our next session. Ankita, please tell me, would you like to add anything to our wonderful conclusion?
I'm happy that we got this opportunity to speak to the parents today. And all I want to convey to the audience is that we will come back shortly with more dedicated sessions of podcast. We are
Definitely.
happy to answer all the questions which they may have regarding the topic which we are going to talk about. And I really appreciate making it an interactive session because dealing with a real time problem makes it more meaningful to listen to each other. So I'll be more than happy if our audience can share the questions well in advance. or even on the spot, I'm sure I can pick them up as much as possible
Right.
and give my best, give my best to be a partner to them to nurture the future of their children. That's a
Wonderful.
promise.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, guys. This is Mrinalini, your host, and with Ankita. So, this is Experiential Pathways with Ankita. Stay tuned, guys. See you really soon.
Thank you. Bye bye.